Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Christine Josti, and I was just saying I haven't done this in so long. It's been 2 weeks, and I'm all out of practice of doing lives. I'm Christine Josti of Mail Something Pretty, and this is my weekly live. Thank you very much for joining. Hi, Kim. Yep, I'm all mixed up today, but hopefully I have everything that I need. Like 2 weeks really makes a difference when you're so used to a routine and you get all off. Um, so today I'm going to make a fun card called it's a fault line card. And I actually never knew the name of it. But when I was looking it up, that's what it's called. Hey Cindy, hey Nancy. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Love you guys watching live. And I like you guys watching replays too. So let's see. I have some new products to show. I'm going to make the cards what we'll do, kind of both of them use some new products, which is exciting. But before I begin, I just want to let you know about things that are happening. Today is the last day to sign up for my paper share. So if you're interested in my paper share, easiest thing probably would be just to go to my website, mailsomethingpretty.com, and then there's a blog post and a link and to sign up there. Um, and it's also a ribbon share, paper and ribbon share. And then for those of you, Cindy, hi, you're new. Welcome. Oh, that's awesome. Let me know where you're from. Um, if you're in my area, I have an event going on September 27th, in my area being Massachusetts. And so the last day to sign up for that is Friday. That also is on my blog. And the last thing is, I don't want to forget, and I didn't confirm with her, but it should be that Ann and I are going live on Thursday night, our joint live. So, oh, New Hampshire, so that's kind of local. So, Cindy, I live in Norwell, Massachusetts, which is on the South Shore on the East Coast. So, depending on which part of New Hampshire, um, I would love to have you join us. And so that information is also on my blog at mailsomethingpretty.com. So you can check it out or just contact me after and we can chat. Um, Alrighty. So let me remember how to do this. Here we go. So this is the new holiday catalog. Some of you may have it already. I mailed it to everyone who's ordered from me in the past. So I can't really open it up until tomorrow. But that's the front cover. You get a little sneak peek at some of the paper and the ribbon. What's on the back? Doesn't really, let's see. You kind of see there's a little squirrel punch. Kind of see what's kind of new. Some ribbons, cute little gingerbread trees. You can kind of get a little sneak peek, but so actually that gives you a little glimpse of some of the paper. And I have one pack of paper to show you too, that will kind of give you a little heads up if you're interested in the paper share. Alrighty, let's see. Let's do this one first. So I'm going to use, I'll show you actually the stamp set first. So I'm going to use, this is like my favorite, the sunflower embossing folder. I actually meant to check before I came online, but I think it's still available. I don't think it's sold out again. But this is one of the new stamp sets for the fall, and this one, I believe, is in the online exclusive section, so it's not in the yeah. I don't No, it's not in here, but it's on there's a whole new one product line coming out tomorrow as well. So this is part of that. And then there's some dies with it. But this is kind of fun. I've only used one of the dies, but you have this kind of fun background leaves. So that will be fun to use. Um, but I just used the one that outlined, you'll see in a second, the acorns. So we're going to use that up there. So here are 3 versions of that card. So when you see the kind of the ripped, I always thought it was just called ripped something or other. But apparently people are calling it a fault line, FAULT line. And actually I can kind of show you my progression and I'll point it out along the way. This is probably the best ripped one. So I figured out a better process. And so I'm going to show you that. But we'll make one of these and I will make another version using, I'll show you after, another, something else that's in the catalog. So let's start. Let's see. I think we're going to use I used these two have a very vanilla base. Let's see the sunflower, and then this one uses um basic beige. They're kind of similar, but we'll use very vanilla. And this is just the regular, it's not the thick. I actually don't think they sell the thick anymore. But that's okay. Let's use the regular. And oh no. I know what the measurements are, but of course I have them written down. And I'm gonna write them down right now. They're downstairs. I don't know why they did. Hold on. I'm gonna do one other thing. Nope. Nope. Okay, I was just making sure they weren't even somehow. That's okay. We're gonna do it right here. So it's a fault line card. The base is 4.25 by 9.5. So it's a little different size. And we're gonna score it at 5.5. And then I was just calling it the rip section. I don't know what else to call it. This, the solid is 4.25 by 3. I think that's all we need to know. Oh, no, hold on. The pattern, and this is where I think I did it differently than other people. And I'll explain that as we go along, is 4.25 by 5.5. All right. So here you go. Those are my measurements. Oh, and we have someone who's stuck on. Nana Marie snuck in here from Michigan. Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining. I love to have new people coming and then the returning people coming live. It's always fun. Okay, so my base is, I'm going to cut this at 4.25. Let me get that, make sure that's in the screen here. And then I'm going to 4.25 by, I want this to be 9.5. So this is just extra. Actually, we'll use that to stamp on. And then this is scored at 5.5. Okay, so base 4.25 by 9.5, scored at 5.5. So it looks funny at the moment, but that's our base. And the other thing we need to, well, I'll just do all our cutting now, is I'm going to do a similar color combination to this one. So this is Cajun Craze. So that needs to be 4.25 by 3. The 3, you could always change that up, but you'll see in a second because we're going to end up ripping it in half. But 3 is enough. And then pattern paper, I'm going to use this pattern because I don't have any more of this pattern. I took this from the Timeless Plaid. I copied this card, and I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. I didn't copy exactly, but similar. I liked her color combinations, and she did use the plaid paper. But this is that Timeless Plaid it was in the spring mini catalog. Kind of went with that Storybook Moments, the Beatrix Potter stuff. Well, the fake Beatrix Potter stuff. But it's still available. You can even just write plaid on the website and it will pop up. All right, so this is going to be 4.25 by 5.5. So that's really kind of the same size as a card, like a card. All right, so those are my 3 things that you need to cut. This is scrap, so I'm just gonna put this, tuck it right in here. We'll use it for something else later. All right. So what we're gonna do, the first thing we're gonna use, you can use other embossing folders, but I just love the sunflower one. So we're gonna use the sunflower one. In a second card, I actually used a different one, but I think that sunflowers really match so many things. So we only want to really emboss this front, this top part. And so I did fold it in half. I'm gonna open it up again. And I'm going to actually insert it from the bottom because the sunflowers are really multi-directional, it works out really well. Um, it doesn't matter like which direction the sunflowers are going. So it's actually, this will be the top down, even though I kind of put it in from the bottom, if that makes any sense. I'm going to use my machine here and get the correct plate. So I need my big one. I'm going to put this. I do like to put the folded side in first. In a past emboss, oh, and I make sure I didn't move it because another card I did move it. Yeah, I'm good. These ones are pretty sturdy, but I have wrecked embossing folders in the past by not putting the fold side in. I have cracked them. And so it's not always possible depending on what you're doing with your paper. But if it is possible, I like to put the folded side in first. And then it's just so pretty. Here we go. Such detail on there. All right. So I'm going to fold that again. So again, it looks kind of weird, right? If this is our card base, but it's actually kind of cool what we're going to do. We are going to, so this again was 4 1/4, same width as our card base. I did it by 3, and you have some wiggle room, but 3 seems to be enough. I'm going to line this up. Right edge to edge, okay? And I'm actually going to put a clip here because it will help keep it in alignment. And we're going to rip. So the first card I made, I kind of did it without reading the directions or watching her video. I just kind of ripped it on my own, so which is fine. I ripped the top piece, and then I ripped another piece, and then I ripped more. But you can see that it's they're all ripped independently versus this one. Do you see how it's all like equal? So that's what I'm going to show you. So it's a little bit neater. Nothing wrong with this. I like it. But this makes it's a little bit easier and less steps. So this clip, this is my idea, keeps it there. So here again, here's our 2 pieces. So we are going to rip from, again, I'm just guessing, from, I don't know, is that 1.5 inches or so from here kind of down to here. So we're really ripping 2 pieces at the same time. And do you see how that clip helps keeping it together? Otherwise, it would have been shifting. And so this is the magic part. So now we're just going to take this and just slightly bring it down. And then our rips we have this nice even border. Isn't that awesome? So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to still hold it in place, lift it up. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to do it this way. You see? Where's my, I don't know. I'm just trying to think. White on white's harder to see. I don't know where my mat is, my other one. So I'm going to put it like this. And I'm going to lift this up this way. I'm going to put glue on the edge, and then I'm going to close it. We'll do that again because I'll make a second card. But I just put glue right along the edge of that rip. And let's see, did it move? It didn't really move, but then you just kind of, well, of course, then I moved it. But then you just double check it. Just want to make sure that's all lined up. And you give it a press. Now, the width, that's up to you, what you want it to be. Must have been slightly off. I don't know if you can see there's a tiny little weight. That's all right. Okay, so that's that part. So now we're going to use this part. We're going to do it kind of similar. I'm going to take the clip off and we're just going to scoot it down this way. And now we need to glue under the white onto there. So I'm just going to lift it up, but I can roll it over, put glue around that edge. And then I'm just going to line it back up. I try to do about the same width, just so it's all matching. And then I'll just make sure that it's all in alignment like that. Isn't that cool? All right, so now what we're gonna do is this part so the person, and I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, she had, like, if this is the inside of the card, she cut a smaller piece of the plaid and just put it here. But then when you open up the card, you're seeing like the inside components of the card, and I don't want you to see that. Like, isn't that a little bit neater? So you're not seeing like all the edges and stuff. So I just did a full sheet. But if you want to save your paper, you don't have a lot of paper, you can do a smaller measurement and then just do it there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to align my paper. You also want paper that kind of works both sides, because you will see the inside, or excuse me, you will see both sides of the paper. So that one is the plaid and that has that piece. So, some papers don't always work both sides with the card. So just keep that in mind when you're choosing which pattern to do. But I'm just going to line up, again, this piece is really the same size as a finished card. So I'm just lining it up there. And then I'm just going to put glue all on this part, all along here. I'm just going to close it like that. And then this piece that we just did, this is just going to get glued right on top. Now, depending on your width, if you made this wider, and so say you only seeing a little bit of this fault line, you can shimmy this down as much as you want and glue it on there. And you could always then just cut this off so it measures up. So I actually had to do that on one of my cards, but this one works. So I'm just going to line this straight up on there. So I'm just going to put glue on this whole thing. Let me know what you think. And if you've done it differently, you can let me know if you have better tips or different tips. This is actually the first time I've made one of this style cards. All right. So there we go. So now we have our layers, and I like it. It's very textural with the embossing folder and then the ripped lines and then the texture of the printed paper. And I like texture. All right. So then we're just going to decorate it. So now on the inside, it's clean. You don't see all the inner parts. Let me put this over here in case you wanted to see it. So I have two of them. I already stamped and cut out my acorns. I just colored them with, hey Mary, thanks for popping on. I just colored them with watercolored pencils. And so this green, I did two different greens, and this one I put a little brown in it. I figured depending on, we'll use that one. And then you can kind of play around with what you're going to put on there. So in this stamp set, and this is, to be honest, one of the reasons why I got it, I like the autumn wishes, just the phrase. I just thought that was nice. I don't think there's a happy Thanksgiving stamp in this year's lineup. There is the Choose Happy, does have like a happy and a Thanksgiving, so you can create it, but I actually don't think there is a happy Thanksgiving, just like one stamp, but the autumn wishes works for me. So that's why I kind of chose it. Versus there was another autumn one I liked. So that's why I chose this one instead of the other one. All right, so I just stamped that with Early Espresso. And I'm gonna give that a second to dry. And then I'm gonna just cut it out with scissors once sometimes I like it when you kind of follow the words along with your scissors here. It cuts pretty easy. Oh, you know what? That's okay. I was actually going to do something different, but I'll show you what I was going to do. All right. So that cut's pretty easy. Little autumn wishes. Maybe we'll put this one. I'm just one of them all a little bit different. Maybe we'll do it like that. All right, so we're just going to use some dimensionals. This one is almost done. All right, did you guys have a nice Labor Day weekend? A nice, hopefully, day off? It was like picture perfect weather here. It was nice. So I sat outside in my, we had two friends came over, and I sat in my outdoor furniture, which we honestly haven't done that much this year. So that was kind of nice just to sit outside and visit. I had it. Here we go. This is where I had it. Autumn wishes. And then I have, these are, I didn't take what they're called. These are the ones that go with the storybook moments as well. These dots. But my tweezers are not here. What is these? All right, and I'll just look quick at where I put the other ones. All different places. Okay, so we'll just add these on. I'll just do them quick. So I like it when they have 3 sizes, because then I feel like I can kind of use one of each size. All right. So this one I left blank. So what I was going to show you was here. So because I used regular weight vanilla paper, it's a little flexible, not quite like the thick paper. So what you can do, see, this is a little thicker. You can just add another layer of vanilla in there, and that will give it a little bit more weight. And for those of you who watch me a lot, I generally actually don't do a portrait card that opens this way, because sometimes, if it flops down, but that weight kind of helps it. And so I will probably I'll do it later. I'll probably add another layer in there and stamp something else, because I put the autumn wishes on the front. So those are the 4 versions of this one. Let me see. Oh, good. I'm glad you like it, Cindy. Again, there's different ways of doing it, and everyone, you'll have your own style, your own way. But I just didn't want you to see all that messy stuff. All right, so let me show you the other card here, which we actually do need to cut a little bit. All right, so this bundle is in here. You may have actually already seen some samples of it, because it was Stampin' Up! Does what do they call it? I didn't go to it this year. Some sort of creativity, maybe it's Creativity Now, something. It's an event in June. It's virtual, the demonstrators. And I did not sign up for it, but I bought the products because I really liked it. And I'll show you the paper in a second. But this is the stamp set. And I just think it's a stamp set you can use all year long. I like the font of The Deepest Sympathies, Peace on Earth. I'll use that a lot at Christmas time. Love you can use for, Valentine's, certainly. Big Hugs for a Good Friend. I think that's really nice. So I think it's nice words. I like the font, so I liked it. This is the embossing folder that goes with it, which is kind of cool, but it doesn't work with this style card because, let me open it up, because we're going to be like ripping it in half, or not quite in half, but and this has, can you see? Yeah, it has this frame in here. So this is not going to work for this style card, right? Because otherwise we'd be ripping it in half. But there are the dies, which are right under here. You get you get two doves, which is nice. And you get two frames, which is really nice. And so you can kind of see, you can layer up. I'm just trying to do it without the glare. You can lay it. This is the same size as that imprint. And so you can either use that one or not, and then make a like a another dimension in there. So it's kind of a nice folder. It just doesn't work for this style card. And these are two like little letters, so the dove can be carrying little mail. So I think that'd be fun for Valentine's Day too. All right, so that's the set we're gonna use. Let me show you the paper. This paper is included in the paper share. And actually, I think it's the only paper I pre-bought. This is the print we're gonna use, and for anyone who knows me, you can see why, because I just love navy blue, and so that speaks to me. But here are the other prints. Do it this way. So it's all different blues, which is really, really nice. And then the doves are nice. So again, it's kind of it's in the holiday catalog because it can be, for peace doves or holiday doves, but it doesn't really have to be holiday-ish. I'm gonna use that. All right, so I already pre-did some things because you just saw me do everything. So I already cut my card base. This is the Misty Moonlight, 4¼ by 9½. I scored it in half at 5½, and I already put the embossing on it. So we're gonna see with this ripping how this works. So I haven't pre-done one, but I could have used the sunflowers, but I wanted to use something different too. So I generally, this goes against what I usually do. I usually cut my pattern paper on the 4-inch, either 3 or 4-inch measurements, so that it kind of uses the most, because it's 12 inches. But this one, we kind of have to cut it at 4¼ So that's what we're gonna do. So that's at 4¼ and then this will be at 5½. So the reverse side is just kind of like a watercolor-ish. Some of the other ones I didn't think were gonna work, but I like this pattern. Oh, I just found my tweezers when I didn't need them. There they are. All right, so sometimes when you score and fold and then use an embossing folder, you kind of lose it a little bit. So I'm just gonna burnish it again. All right, so where's my little clip? And we're gonna use Cloud Cover as because that's what's in the paper. And we're going to clip these two together like I did in that other one. To me, this is a really helpful step. Because if I didn't and I started ripping, the cloud cover would move and so it wouldn't work. So I'm just going to rip down towards this corner here. Again, not to the straight corner because I want a little bit of an edge. And then we're just going to shift this out a little bit, just like that. So that gets our nice edges. So try not to move it. Glue around this edge, not that one, because I did that. You would have glue on the edge and that doesn't work. You want it on the hidden edge. Here we go. And then this one, we're going to shift this way. Let's turn it this way. And we're going to put glue on this side. And do it here. Trying to keep those two edges similar width. All right, so here are two pieces. And then I'm just going to put this right inside. Like that. And I just make sure that I can kind of close it. and put glue here because we really don't want to see all this messy stuff. And then just make sure that it's all in alignment. And then this one will go like that. Now again, if I wanted this to be a little bit wider, how would I do that? I'll make this a little wider just so I'll show you what I was talking about. So you can kind of see, I'm going to make it wider. All right, so when I do that, I'm going to need something. I'm going to get glue on my table. Here we go. Stuff stuck everywhere. All right, I'm going to do it that way. So normally, like if I liked it, I would just do edge to edge, but I'm actually going to do a little bit further down. So for the sake of what we're doing, I'm just going to put glue on everything, which is why I put my silicone mat here. All right, so I'm going to make sure that those two edges are in alignment. You can see that that is much longer than what I want it to be. I'm just going to blot to get some of this glue off. And then what I'll do is I'll go take my paper trimmer and I'm just going to measure up the score mark here, like the fold mark right at 5.5. And then I'm just going to cut that part off. And I'll get that glue off later. So that's one way of kind of trimming it down if for some reason you needed more. And I want you to see this pattern. I mean, that was kind of the whole point. I wanted you to see that pattern. All right, so I already embossed Peace on Earth. I have two different ones. I did one white on the Secret Sea, which is the darker blue on here. And then this one is the clear. And I already cut out one of the doves. So I figured maybe we'll have it going up here. Again, I want you to see the pattern. And I just cut a square, well, it's not even a perfect square, rectangle. And I just measured my stamp and made it a little bit bigger and cut a square. I was looking at different dies to figure out what would work, but some of them were too big and I didn't want you to cover this, so I just cut a square. You could certainly cut another like layer. I actually think I'm gonna do the darker one. I'm gonna use thread. I'm just looking for my dimensionals. I need more. Here we go. All right. This is the last of those. All right, this is Anne, who you'll meet if you haven't met her yet on my Thursday Night Live. We kind of tease each other. She usually uses a lot of dimensionals and I don't, but for me, that was kind of a lot. All right, Peace on Earth, make sure it's straight. And I'm going to have it so that it's going to put a bow. Hold on a second. Let's make the bow and then decide where we put it. I was thinking I would put it on the corner here. And I could have the bird, maybe, yeah. I think that's what I'll do. So we don't really need the dove to have the bow in its mouth. So we'll have this up here. And it's kind of fun, like it's all different scored, it gives texture. And then we'll use a glue dot. And I'm going to roll it in a ball. Otherwise, you would see the whole glue dot under this tiny little knot. So at least that way it's hidden. All right. Here we go. Peace on earth. Over the bow a little bit. And then on the inside, it's kind of dark. So I would probably, I don't have any white up here. I will probably just cut a smaller layer. And actually, what I might do, I think it would look nice if I use like the perennial postage, one of the rectangles with the edges, or some sort of rectangle with an edge. I'd probably put that on there. But anyways, that's a different version I wanted you to see. All right, so that's what I had. This is the fault line. They're all on the screen here. The fault line card. And you can imagine using all different sorts of papers, different embossing folders, stamps, it's pretty versatile to use with whatever that you have. So tomorrow this goes live, as well as the products that I used here. So the online exclusive, the new stuff, and then everything in here will be available. There we go. And what else? The paper share, my paper share, the deadline is tonight. So please sign up by tonight if you're interested. And then on Thursday night, let's see, I have to do math. It's 8 Eastern time. That's my time, which would be 7, I have to go backwards, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, and 5 Pacific. I'll be live with my friend Anne, and she's a demonstrator in Australia, and we'll be making I don't even know what I'm doing yet, but both of us will use something new from either the holiday catalog or the new online exclusive stuff, and we'll make something and we'll teach you. And it's always lots of fun. So I hope you'll join us with that too, especially those who are new. Anne and I have a lot of fun together, and we have fun with the audience, everyone who's watching, because it's a good time. But plan for it to be at least an hour. Just telling you, it's always over an hour. So I think those are the 3 things that I had for you today. Tomorrow, my newsletter will go out. I didn't send it out today, which I normally would have, because everything will be all the live links will be ready tomorrow. So thank you very much for joining in. Whether you are one of my stampers who watch all the time, I appreciate you, and I appreciate the new people. So please let other people know to join in. I go live just about every week at this time, every Tuesday at the same time. I missed it last week, which is why I was a little out of practice getting it set up. But generally every Tuesday I go live at this time of day. So I hope to see you, and thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.